Hey guys, just want to start this video off by saying I messed up. So you'll see me in this interview looking over here, and I had the camera ready to go, and I accidentally deleted the footage. So you'll see me kind of look over here, but it's still facing me, and you're going to see my messy room behind me. I apologize for that. Just wanted to start the video off that way because, it's fun. Anyways, enjoy the interview. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the podcast. I'm Kevin Powell. Love talking to bands. Love talking to bands about anything and everything. And I got another heavy band here. These guys have been around a while. They were around. They took a little break. Now they're back. I'm talking to the guitarist from Morbid Saint. We got Jim. Jim, how are we doing today?
Doing good. Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely. Love the discography that we're seeing behind you. And we're going to get into all that stuff here in a little bit. So we got Jim, the guitar player from Morbid Saint, with me right now. And just want to say thanks for being on today. I love talking to bands. I love getting to know a little bit more about any band at all. And I love getting their name out to anybody that maybe wanted to hear about them. So who all is in Morbid Saint today? And where is everybody kind of from?
Myself, Jay Visser, the other original guitar player, Pat Lind, our original singer, and then we have Bob Zabel on bass and DJ Bogomil from, I think it's Bogomil, but it's a weird last name. He'll kill me for murdering it, but DJ and Bob have been with Jay. I wasn't in the band for a while, so they've been around for a long time. And we're all basically right from Sheboygan here. I live not even a mile from Jay. Bob's not. Yeah, we're all real close.
I love to hear it. You got 3 discography albums behind you, and again, we're going to get to those here in a little bit. You guys started when? Way back in the day?
It's right around 83, 84-ish, is when we, I think, officially got together as Morbid Saint.
And what really led to the resurgence of the band? We have some scattered releases going back from the 80s. What kind of brought everyone back together?
Officially broke up around, again, this is also long ago, so we're a little vague on these dates, but between somewhere around 93-ish, 94. And the band didn't break up because anything bad. It just, things have changed in everyone's lives, and you gotta feed your family and pay your bills and that kind of stuff. So then in 2010, Jay got the band back together. I think he had Pat right from the start, and the rest of the musicians were all different guys. That's when Bob joined the band, and he got the band together. I think because there was he could see online that there was Spectrum of Death was starting to get kind of a following, and he thought, it's like, hey, if we could get this together and people play this stuff for people live, I think that was his motivation behind it at first. And so he did that up till, with various members. Pat had left because Pat moved out of state for a while. So he did that till around, I believe, right around 2020. He kept the band going, and in that time, the official release, Destruction, got officially released in that time. Then in 2020, the band they split, and at that time, I was unable. Jay had always, I always wanted to play with the band, and Jay had always asked me to join the band, but I just was unable to do it because I own my own business. So right around that same time, I had sold my business, and so I had the time. And Pat relocated back to Wisconsin, to Sheboygan here, Sheboygan area. He's right around here. So he had asked us, and it just worked out, and we were able to keep Bob and DJ, which is awesome because they're both just unbelievable musicians. And we got back together and started jamming for a while, and our intentions was to write an album. right from the start. I kind of said that if we're going to do this, we got to put an album out. So we pushed to do that. It took a little longer than we had anticipated, but yeah, that's kind of the gist of where we're at.
Good things always take time, and you have a brand new album out. It just came out. It's called Swallowed by Hell. Now, whenever I was researching you guys, of course, I started with your first album, and I was like, wow, these guys are really thrashy. I love that kind of stuff. And then I listened to the new album. I was like, wow, what a difference. And not a difference as in, wow, these guys have changed in a bad way, but what a progression over the years, right? So with that, what was the writing process kind of like for this new album, Swallowed by Hell?
We wrote everything right. We only practice once a week, so that's not a lot of time to really sit and write, and put a lot of stuff together. So what we did, we worked off of WhatsApp. We started a WhatsApp group, and we would send little videos, clips of guitar parts or ideas, and Pat would bring words and lyrics and send pictures of those, and we kind of just worked that way and pieced stuff together, on the computer, took little bits, and we all have Reaper, so we just kind of threw stuff together. We kind of build the song that way, and bring little rough drafts in, and so that allowed us to kind of work not all the time, but a lot more than just a one day of practice, to structure the songs. And once we were all happy with it, then we would concentrate on putting it together, as a band. And that's pretty much how we wrote everything on this new album. Was pretty much written that way. We bounce stuff around at practice also, but a lot of times it would be, if somebody would bring something, I'd quick bring out my phone and record them, because then I can see what's going on, and remember the part, because we are kind of old now, so it's a little hard remembering all this stuff.
There's so many different ways now to write and record, and I got to hear it from you. Is it easier than what it was back in the 80s?
Absolutely. That way. It's that, we, some people things are different. Everybody looks at things different, but we kind of, there's a lot of technology out there. It's just crazy. And we embrace that. If there's something out there that can help us make our job easier, or more efficient, whatever, we're all for it. And not only with that, like with even with our equipment, we're big tube amp guitar players. I have just got to have a good tube amp, but we don't play with tube amps anymore. We run modelers now, which it's lightweight. You got your guaranteed sound every time you hook up. Is it as good as a tube amp? Absolutely not, but it's close enough for the benefits outweigh the negatives. So.
Everything's a lot easier now when it comes to just everything. I mean, you guys you had your WhatsApp and you just kind of collaborated that way. Some people kind of get together in one room and, piece together stuff right there and then. I mean, there's just so many different ways. And honestly, I love hearing that the differences made everything a lot easier for bands that have been around for as long as you guys have. So we talked a little bit about writing. We talked a little bit about recording. You are the guitar player. So I want to talk a little bit more about gear. What kind of gear do you like to play live, recording? You talked a little bit about modelers. So is there any special ones that you like to use? Anything at all?
G and I, we're the two guitar players. We're not a band that has like one main guitar player. We kind of have two, so we both run Quad Cortex amp modelers. We have some Fractal stuff, which I like them both. It's really, I think the Quad Cortex, their capture feature, is, whether it's the algorithm in there or whatever it may be, it reproduces what you capture very well, which is why we went with it. But so we both run that, and we're running captures that we made ourselves. Jay's got a whole rack full of amps, the modified 5150s and all, all the good stuff. So that's what we run. Guitar wise, we both play Solar guitars. And we play those, but they're not like exclusively. We kind of bounce back and forth. I actually had a couple custom guitars made by a gentleman over in Finland. It's called, I can't pronounce it because it rolls the R's and I can't do that, but it's like Curious Instruments. I found him on YouTube, and he had some build videos that were just amazing. I watched his details. So I had a couple of custom guitars made by him, and that's what I'm playing now all the time. And Bob runs Solar Bass. That's pretty much it. Just the amp modeler, and we each run a couple stacks, and pretty simple. It's not a lot to what we do.
That's perfectly fine. There's a lot of different modelers out there, and a lot of pros and cons to both. So hearing, that you guys like Quad Cortex is awesome. I used the Kemper for a while, and then I don't use the Kemper anymore. So just how it is. So you guys just had that release, Swallowed by Hell. What was the reception like for that? Any old fans coming back? Any new fans saying anything at all?
It seems to be pretty decent so far. There's a lot of reviews, people reviewing it. The response so far has been, we couldn't, I guess, hope for anything better than what it's been. You're always going to have people that ain't going to like it. And we were kind of hoping that we would please the fans of Spectrum enough that they wouldn't hate us, and hopefully gain some new fans. That's ultimately the goal is always to gain more more listeners and people who like the music, and the more people who like the music, the bigger shows we're going to get and stuff. So it's been good. It's we knew right from the start that no matter what we did, we're getting compared to Spectrum, because that's
how it is.
Yeah, and that's a tough thing to follow. But for us, we don't, a lot of people ask us about the writing and stuff, and we don't really intentionally think of, we don't make a conscious effort to just say, let's write something that's just so brutal and so fast or whatever. What we write is how we play. It's how we write. This is who we are. When we wrote Spectrum, that's how we play. I mean, there's nothing else that really could have came out of us. And same with now. This is, there's, like I said, there's always going to be, could we go more extreme than what we are? Probably, but ultimately, this is really where we are right now. So this is it's just a natural thing for us to write. The album was just, we didn't write any throwaway songs. These songs were all written with about a year and a half, and we wanted 10 songs, and we wrote the 10 best songs that we could write right now. So this is what it is.
Perfect answer. What's coming up next for the band?
We got some shows coming up. We're starting to get, things are trickling in. We're not a touring band. People always ask us about that. You're going to go on tour, and we're not a touring band because everybody in this band has jobs. Morbid Saint has never supported us, in any way. So we got, between families, jobs, everything like that, we're limited on what we can do as far as shows. So our big thing is to, we like the ideas of the fly out for the one show on festivals and things like that. That's really what we want to concentrate on. But we also, like later in the year, we're playing up in New York, and we're doing like a 3-day stint there with we're doing I think Philly, Washington, and New York, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Then we'll drive back home on Sunday. So we'll do stuff like that. But as far as getting on any kind of extended tour, we don't have any. We don't have the ability to do that, for one, and we're all happy with doing the one-offs and driving for little extended things, whatever like that. But that's about the extent of it. But like I said, stuff's trickling in now that the album dropped. I guess we'll wait and see how how it goes, and we'll get some more. I hope some more festivals. We got Hell's Heroes down in Texas coming up in March. We're playing that, and then we got some shows over in. We got a show in the Czech Republic in October, I believe.
Oh wow.
That one's, yeah. And then now we're in the talks with another one over in Milan, Italy, and but that one's that's not set yet. We're kind of still in the talks with that one, but so there, it's trickling in among some other smaller things.
Okay, so let me pick your brain for a second. Let's say money's not an issue. Let's say time's not an issue. Who do you want to tour with? Just name any band.
Hmm.
That's the face I wanted.
That's yeah, it's a hard band. You know, you know, that's hard in the sense that a lot of the bands and people, this is maybe cliche or whatever, but you know, when you're an older musician, you tend to. I'm not saying there's not a lot of great bands now. There are, but you tend to be still kind of stuck to the old stuff you really
Mhm.
grew up. You know, and that. So like, I mean, obviously, if you go with that, it's like, we'd open up for Metallica. You know, if I look at
Yes.
it that way. But when you get into the reality of things, uh, I don't. I think it would end up being older bands, you know, that are still doing it, you know, which is kind of where we fit in. You know what I mean? I don't think we would, you know, I mean, if we could open up on the, you know, Lamb of God Pantera, you know, tour thing that's going on, you know, I seen that. That was great. You know, obviously stuff like that would be, I mean, anybody would, you know, jump at that kind of stuff. But um, I really couldn't pick one. It would just be the older bands, you know, and it's funny because you said that one of my favorite bands from back in the day is Overkill. I really like Overkill, and this show in Milan that I mentioned that's we're talking in the talks with Overkill's headlining that show. We'd be playing like one or two bands before
Okay.
that, so that's gonna be, if that comes through, that'll be like a dream bucket list type thing, you know. Whatever we get to open for Overkill, which is cool. Um, but yeah, I really couldn't specify any anybody to open up for.
That's okay. Just wanted to pick your brain, have some fun.
Yeah.
Last thing I want to wrap things up with here. Do you have any advice for bands that might be just starting out? Maybe they've been around a couple years and they're just looking for that little piece of advice to kind of break through that glass ceiling. You guys have been around a while. You've had your fair share of shows and good times, bad times. Any advice at all?
I guess the first thing is uh, you probably don't want to take advice from me because we put an album out, you know, every decade or two. So you know, I'm not saying that we know the proper way of doing things. But I would say, you know, for now, and I think all of them don't even need this advice, but like, you know, like I said, embrace the technology, use it. Um, Nowadays with social media, you know, when back in 80, 89, 90, when we released Spectrum, you know, none of this was here, you know, so it was very hard to get, um, what do you say, any kind of recognition or, you know, to get your name out there was very hard. It was not like it is now. Now it is. You got, you know, Bandcamp and all these things that you know, exploit the hell out of that stuff, you know, because that's what it's there for, you know. Get the stuff out and get people listening to it. As far as what, you know, anything as far as music wise, you know, you just do, like I said, you know, we do, this is us, this is what we do. We never changed for anything, but that's why we're not making a living off of this either. So that's why, hence, like I said, you probably don't want to take any advice from me, but um no, I just say, you know, use, you know, and work hard, you know, you have to practice all the time and practice and um yeah, I mean, that's, like I said, most is pretty kind of common sense stuff, but um that's all I could say is use the tools that are available to you as much as you can. You know, don't say, you know, we don't want to do that because that's selling out or doing anything like that or whatever. You know, just do, you know, use it and do what comes from inside you. You know, that's where the best stuff comes from. You know, don't try to sound a certain way. Just make what comes natural.
Very well said, Jim. I like asking every band that question because everyone has a different answer because they never know what to say, and it's a lot of fun listening to it. Any final things you want to say to fans as we wrap things up?
Just you know, I hope everybody who gets a chance to listen to the album likes it, and I hope we don't piss our old fans off. You know, I don't think so. We tried to make the album, you know, relatable as much as it's going to be to Spectrum. Obviously, it's 30 some years later. But this is it, and we're happy with it. We love the album. And for any fans of Morbid Saint, there's a very good chance this is not our last album. And you won't have to wait 10 years for it, or 20 years, or 30 years.
Thank you, Jim. I'll talk to you here in a little bit off air, okay?
Alrighty. Thanks for having me.